Good evening, everybody. I hope you're well. Haven't done a live video here in a while. The excuse me, the Facebook pre-record has been working for me for the most part, so that's been helpful because again, lets me record a little bit earlier as opposed to focusing on it at exactly this time. But I'm home this evening, so it has worked out. So I want to touch base on a few things here. It's been an interesting week. Let me start kind of as the week progresses on a few things that are of district interest and statewide. Some of the bills I've been working on that I've talked to you about. School bus bills. We had a hearing in the Judiciary Committee this week, and there was some good discussion, spirited discussion, and some of the members on the Judiciary Committee had some issues with it. Just so you know, what we would be doing is on a school bus, the stop arm, a school district could now definitely have a camera, and a picture could be used then by law enforcement to enforce a pass-by on a school bus, and that would be a change. They've been able to do it, but sheriffs and whatnot have been a little leery about the possibility of that photo being used. This bill would allow that and make it okay. So it's crazy the amount of people. Thankfully, not that many kids and parents are getting hit, but there are so many people that zip by those school buses when the lights are flashing and the stop arm's out. So this would create a civil fine and a $500 fine if you run that stop sign. And right now it's a $100 fine. $500 fine if we get voted out of Judiciary, then through the House and the Senate and signed by the governor. But what's been interesting on this, I will tell you, is there has been good compromise and dialogue. And you know, it's funny. I was chatting with a representative from the other side of the aisle, and I chatted. I said, you know, compromise isn't a dirty word. You can still get what you want. You just try and finagle it. And I believe these bills will be voted on next week. The other one is that you cannot board a school bus without permission of the driver. There's been a lot of people boarding buses, and I know you don't think it's a problem, but let me tell you, it is, and it's becoming a bigger problem. We want to nip it in the bud. So this will say you cannot board a bus unless the driver gives you permission, and if you do, a judge could fine you up to $500 for doing that. So we just want folks to realize we've got to keep our school buses safe. We've got to give our school bus drivers some backup because they are out there on their own, and we need to make sure our children are safe. So that's just in a nutshell. Obviously, I could go on and on. The other bills that are out there that will be in hearing testimony this Thursday morning, I believe, in Children and Families before Chair Crawford. She's a sweet gal. These are the child care bills, and this would allow the upping of the ratio. Right now in a in-home daycare, it's 6 kids. In a group home, it's 12 because you've got 2 adults. So we'd be bumping the ratio up by 1 child per adult. This would do a couple of things. This would allow our in-home daycares the opportunity to make an extra buck. And rural child care in Michigan is on the ropes. And we need to make sure that this gets passed. And so, again, we're talking with the different folks and working on these bills, but they're going to get testimony this week, and I'm excited. And the last thing I'll throw at, and I won't go into great detail because there's more to come, but I did introduce my emergency management bill, which would remove it from the MSP and create an independent Office of Emergency Management. And I know there's a lot of, that isn't a good idea. Let me tell you, it's a great idea. 48 other states have done it. More on that as we move into testimony and that sort of thing, because I've got other things. But that's what I've been working on this week. Not that much, huh? All right, real quick. We had our COVID oversight committees, and one of the things that I think was interesting, we had Director Steve Gray in of UIA. And, you know, I try to be fair. And we all know the horror story that is the unemployment situation. And I think they could have done some things differently. But 1.7 million applications in 3 weeks is going to overflow any system. The other issue is that I think the software system, I'm no IT guy, but everything I've heard from people, I think that we need to look at that software system. I think it's kind of antiquated, but more on that. But the thing that I think was interesting was, and this is the thing that ticked me off, they put out a press release ahead of their hearing with us that said all claims prior to July 1st had been taken care of if they were able to get in touch with the claimant. So they were saying if they couldn't get in touch with you to clear things up, well, then they might not have gotten to you. But if you had applied prior to July 1st and they were able to get a hold of you, you'd be okay. So I said to Cam, my front desk, I said, all right, let's get a hold of some of the people that have been owed for 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 weeks. We got a hold of all of them. We got a hold of a dozen of them in the afternoon. So I don't know how hard UIA had tried, but I got a hold of them. And I asked, can I use your name in the committee? And they all said yes. So when I was talking with Director Gray, I said, you talk about these as numbers and things like that. These are people. These are stories. These are people in my district that when they say, what are you going to do? And I say, I don't know. That's a sucky response from me. But what can I do? You know? So I read these 12 names and I said, actually it was 11, pardon me. I read these 11 names and gave their list and what it was. Sheila, I won't use her last name, Sheila had been at 22 weeks. Nothing from a UIA. I got a note from Cam. She called the office today. They took care of her. So here we are. We had to bring it up in testimony. Now, I don't know how the other 10 will fare, but we'll follow on those. The UIA is a broken system, and I think right now we're still bailing water. But when this thing all settles down, the UIA needs to open the windows, and we need to clean house with software, whatever. But that is a system that has serious issues. Let's see here. What else do I want to talk about here as we move through here? Okay. So after weeks of teasing, which really bugs me, after weeks of teasing, our governor finally decided after very soon, or I'll be drilling down on this information, chose to open most businesses in the state of Michigan. And you know, a couple people were like, hey, Jack, she finally opened businesses. Are you happy? Well, of course I'm happy that these poor people who have been driven to near bankruptcy are allowed to get back to work. But am I going to stand up and yell, yay, Governor, thank you for opening people you should have opened 2.5, 3 months ago? No. So, yes, I am happy the governor has chosen to come into the world of reality and open these poor people up. Remember, these are people, we talk about safety and we talk about science and data. These are all businesses that gave their protocols to open safely to the governor 2.5, 3 months ago. We're talking bowling alleys, pools, fitness centers, et cetera, right? But yet, indoor wedding venues and those sorts of things are still at 10, even though restaurants can have more. This is so vague and so crazy. I just point out again to the folks that think the governor's response has been just stellar. Yes, I will say the governor has done some things right. I was with her early on. But as we've moved forward, the governor has gotten wackier and more abstract. And again, science and data, but we don't see it. The other thing, the governor, no surprise to anybody, the emergency powers were to have expired today, but she's extended the state of emergency to October 1st. Now, this will be no surprise to anybody. You know, I hear a lot of people say, oh, she's going to hold those powers over till after the election. Personally, if we don't win in the Supreme Court or unlock Michigan petition, she'll hold these emergency powers into next year. That's just my belief, you know. I have so many people say, what do you think the governor's going to do? Or what, you know, can you ask the governor? Again, that's just funny. No, I can't. I mean, I can, but I've been given the hand so many times, I realize it's not worth it. Oh, and the other one, theaters. Theaters can't open, but a restaurant can. You can social distance in a theater. And again, now in region 6 and 8, northern, lower, upper peninsula, some of these things have opened. Not theaters, but some of these other things have opened. But in big parts of the state, nothing. But yeah, movie theaters are still closed. So, another quick thing here I'll throw in. We'll get to some science and data, I guess, or at least data. A new study of state data by the Mears News Agency, for a little study they did, says there have been more documented COVID-19 outbreaks. Now remember, an outbreak is 2 or more. There have been more documented COVID-19 outbreaks associated with long-term care facilities, which typically include nursing homes, than any other setting for every week going back to at least the beginning of June. This according to the Mears study. And long-term care is skilled nursing facilities, assisted living, adult daycare, group homes. 170 of these in the state have been COVID-free. But obviously, when it says more documented COVID-19 outbreaks associated with long-term care facilities, we still have a problem. And Michigan is still the only state that is putting recovering COVID patients back into nursing homes. We've got to win. Update on the lawsuit, because not everybody watches all the time. Update on the lawsuit. It was supposed to have been heard, I think it was Wednesday the 2nd. But again, Judge Bernstein, who is sight impaired, his chief aide had been recovering from COVID. And so he needs that person to help him process the information and all the incoming stuff. So they waited. The case will be heard starting next Wednesday. Okay? So that's the update on that. So, and with that, I want to say, I hope everybody has a good holiday. At least you can go fishing with a motor on your boat this holiday. You couldn't do that this spring. But you know, our workers are the backbone of this country. And we've seen it this year with our frontline workers. And God bless our nurses and our doctors and our first responders. But our frontline workers have included the stock boys and at the grocery store, the cashier, the tow truck driver, the mechanic. You know, maybe not the ones that you think of right off the top. And so I want to salute everybody who is working, doing the best they can, especially during this COVID situation. And again, I think to those business owners who are laborers too, right? Small business owners who have been getting shafted unbelievably through all of this. I salute them too, because many won't make it back, but at least now, for the most part, not completely, they are at least getting an opportunity to survive. So on this Labor Day weekend, be safe, be smart. If you go out, yes, wear your mask. I know unless you can't for medical reasons, and if you don't want to, because for whatever reason, just realize let somebody else go in or don't go in and don't harass anybody. I know we've kind of moved past all of that, but let's be smart out there. Social distance, just be smart. Everybody's doing a great job. Our numbers are low. By the way, I'll throw that in here real quick. As of yesterday, 982 cases, 7 deaths. So our death rate is way low. We're doing well out there, Michigan, even though our governor might not tell you that. Overall, we're doing pretty good. So hang in there. Enjoy the weekend. We'll check in with you next week. More on all these topics. So be safe. Have fun. Happy Labor Day, and we'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.